I just bought this car literally last week. Car was in really good condition, body-wise, no rust, no nothing. And I'm up in Toronto, Canada. Car was running. I picked it up, drove it home. Everything was good. 2 days later, I got to get and I noticed that the above the steering wheel had no power whatsoever. And then a day or two later, when I started it up again, the cluster, the speedometer, fuel gauge, all that, there stopped functioning. So kind of internet and checked all the obvious signs for wiring corrosion on the connector. So I found a lot of corrosion on a connector that is at the driver's side foot fuse pad by the fuse box there. So I cleaned all that up. I ended up having to cut out that connector because all the pins were corroded and some were missing. I pulled that wiring back together. Now, after that, I turned on the car again. Then my speedometer lights warning on the speedometer cluster are working fine. The tach is still not working. I get no lights, no power at all to that. So I went in the engine compartment, started checking all my fuses, and as I was going down the whole row of fuses, there's fuses, and there were F1 and F4 in the engine compartment, that the polarity was reversed. So I took a tester and grounded it and then went down every row of fuse. I get power on the one side, which was normal, then nothing on the other side. And then when I hit F4 and F1, I was getting a really low voltage on the side that's supposed to be power, and I'm getting a full, there's 11 volts on the opposite side, which I figured shouldn't have power. So I'm just wondering if you have an idea what F1 and F4 are supposed to do, because all I can figure out from the engine, from the manual, is that it's an engine control. So it doesn't really tell me where it goes or what it does.
And then you said this is under the hood?
Yeah, it is under the hood.
I see F1 and F4 behind the left footwell, but that's not the one you're asking about. You're talking about the ones under the hood.
Sorry, hang on. Sorry, I them, so I kind of just went, hang on, I got the manual. I even bought one of those Haynes repair manuals to look it all up. Sorry, it's in the engine compartment, and it is one right at the very bottom, and then 4 up from that.
That doesn't tell me anything. What I need to know is it'll be labeled FL4, FL6, FL7, FL2, FL8.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay, but sorry, I had just come in when you called. Let me get back to the car and I'll tell you exactly what it is.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. So, according to the cover on it, sorry, it's a F1 and F4.
I see FL4, that's for your power steering system.
Oh, yeah, those the large ones. Those are actually, the big square fuses.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the ones on the other side of that, which is there's F1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 10.
What size amp is that F4 fuse?
Number of fuses, 15 amp, and number one F1 is a 5 amp, and those two are both giving power on the
wrong side. So you took the fuse out and then you measured power on the female?
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
Let me ask you
where the fuse plugs in.
Let me ask you a really silly question. If you plug the fuse in and you measure voltage on the fuse, on both sides of the fuse, on the metal prongs on the top side, do both sides have power?
Oh, yeah, they all have power.
Okay, well, then don't worry about it.
The power is running through the fuse.
Yeah, then don't worry about it. You're fine.
But if it's reversed here, does that mean something's where I should have ground?
No.
They've also noticed the battery drains really fast.
No, you're fine. No, don't worry about it.
You sure that's okay?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking the battery drains really quickly on this thing. So I was thinking, okay, I've got power going to ground somewhere, and it's killing my battery really fast. So that's why I thought if these fuses, if the polarity was reversed, that's where I was going with this for now. Anyway.
Okay, let me address that real quick. If you have power going directly to ground, either A, you're going to pop a fuse instantly, or you're going to start a fire real quick. One of these wires are going to be smoking, and you would know it. Your car would be on fire.
I'd know it right away. Okay, yeah. I thought much, but I thought if it was like a voltage draw, then it wouldn't. Okay, here's why my tachometer cluster is not lighting up at all.
Yes, I have lots of ideas, and I'm trying to get us to that point in this conversation so I can help you. Listen,
Okay.
I do a lot of people, and what they do is they get stuck on one little thing, and we're way out in left field, and we're chasing these just oddball electrical issues when it's not even a big deal. I've been doing this for 20 years. I want you to listen really carefully. So the battery draw and this other electrical issue that you're having could very well be related. So you can run a battery draw test. I can send you some information so that way you can run this test and help pinpoint the draw, and maybe it'll fix this other problem. That's one way we could go about diagnosing and fixing this.
Okay.
The other way would be to go to the component that's not working and just check all the powers and the grounds going into that component.
That I've tried. Problem is I'm not getting anything going into that component.
And I'm sorry, let's back up a little bit. Did you say it's the tachometer? That's your concern that's not working?
Yeah, like it doesn't work. The needle doesn't move when the engine's running. And whatever information, there's a little screen on there that's supposed to give me information of some sort, doesn't light at all.
Okay, and it's on the instrument cluster. That is where the screen is. Is that correct?
Yeah, this thing has like one speedometer sort of in the middle of the dash, and then the tach is above the steering wheel.
Okay, and let me ask you this. How did you check the power going into this?
With the key in the on position, I plug off the back of the tach and tested from all the wires to see if there's any power coming in here. There's nothing.
Oh, all right. So you pulled the back of the cluster and you check for power, correct?
Yes. 6 wires going into this secondary cluster.
Okay.
And it's, as far as I can tell, from what I've read, it's fed from the main speedometer cluster.
Okay.
So there's a wire broken between the two clusters, which I highly doubt, but I have no idea why there's no power feeding from there to here. Between the two, like the clusters aren't communicating. How's that?
Looks like this is actually a common problem. Repaired connector X15, bypassed connector X15. Let me read this to you. Check fault codes. Check faults with a factory compatible scan tool. Check fuses 6, 9, 40, and 21 of the fuse box in the left kick panel. Those pins should have battery voltage.
I've got all that.
Hang on, just with me. It says those pins should have battery voltage. So not only the fuses have to be good, but we had a battery voltage, not 6 volts, not 7 volts, not 8 volts, but battery voltage.
Okay, and if I don't have battery voltage anywhere, what does that mean?
Well, then we got a problem further upstream that we got to trace down. All right, so hang on. Let me finish reading. I got a lot of information that I'm trying to help you. I need you to just sit tight for a minute, okay?
Okay, I'm afraid you're going to give me so much, I'm going to forget half of it. But
all of this is being recorded, and the AI is going to bullet point everything for us, and it's going to send it to you when we're done here, okay?
Okay, it's my first time on using the service, so.
No problem.
All right, go ahead.
If the battery voltage is not present, then check connector X15 for damage. This connector is mounted below the fuse box and is susceptible to water damage. Repair connector X15 as necessary. All pins are available at the dealer. Clear faults and test operation. Tech tips. If moisture damage is present at connector X15, check the sunroof drains. The drain tubes can become detached. Okay, and another one. 2003 Mini Cooper 1.6 instrument cluster and tachometer are intermittent, and this confirmed fix is replaced the instrument cluster. So this is also very common. Check with the compatible scan tool. By the way, did you or anybody check for codes in the computer?
I tried hooking it up, and it was literally telling me I had nothing in the car.
There we go. All right, that's what I'm looking for. All right, there's no communication. You got a communication problem, and it's probably going to be related maybe to this connector X15. I have to pull a diagram to see if the wires go through here, but that is very possible. And like I mentioned earlier, I would be willing to bet that's also related to this battery drain.
Okay.
Yours could be bad.
All right.
Have you tried removing the instrument cluster and just letting it sit overnight and seeing if the...
That all... I left it completely pulled apart last night, and I just put it back together this morning, so it really sat all night. But like I said, once I cluster out, checked all the wires, I think, I'm not sure, I'd have to look at a diagram, but I think the X15 connector is the one you're talking about, which is the one that basically eliminated and soldered all my wires together.
Okay.
Because one that got corroded from which. So now I know for a fact I've got all my wires, all the colors matched up, literally one by one, put everything back together. When I plugged my cluster back in, it lit up. It worked again. So the main cluster works. The secondary one does not.
Okay. So fuse 21 in the fuse holder behind the left footwell trim, that powers up your main instrument cluster, but that one's working. So your auxiliary instrument cluster isn't working. And let's see if I can get a diagram. How many wires go to that auxiliary instrument cluster?
Oh, God, I got it back in the dash now, but there's like 12 to 15, something like that.
Okay.
So I got...
And is that the one that doesn't light up at all, or is that the
power.
one that's intermittent?
No, it's back on. Like I'm testing the fuse right now, F21. And I got power on the back of the fuse. I got power on both sides.
No, but that's not what I'm asking. The auxiliary instrument cluster, is that the one that's not working at all, or is that working intermittently?
The auxiliary is not working at all.
Okay.
I've got it in my hand right now. I bring my keys right here. Like, hang on a second. I'm going to turn on the ignition just to the auxiliary. And, like, my cluster lit up. Shows my... Oh, wait a minute. How the hell did that happen? This cluster lit up, which hasn't happened since I started working on it. So this is the frustrating part. That's why I called you guys, and all of a sudden it lit up.
We fixed it
For no apparent reason.
Outstanding.
We fixed it. I don't know. Yeah, but as far as I don't know why. So if it happens again, I'm still...
Right.
Hang on, let me... Actually, it went into the car now, the Bluetooth. No idea why or...
Did you say you unplugged it while we were talking?
No, actually, while we were talking, it was still plugged in.
Okay. It looks like
But now I've got...
Go ahead.
No, I turned the ignition key, and now everything is working, which is the frustrating part, actually, because I wish I would knew.
Right.
So right now, on my main cluster, I've got the battery, actually everything's lit up right now. That's just in the ignition, and the car won't start, so we could give it a boost or something to try to see if I can get the engine to start. So, like I said, my biggest concern is when I found the reverse polarity on those fuses, but I thought maybe there was something going on there.
Right.
But if you're telling me that's okay, and now everything lit up, and for the life of me, this is the most frustrating part, is I don't know why. I don't know what to tell you. Every time I start talking to a mechanic, nothing works. It doesn't make sound. And this time, it all started. So I'm going to get my charger up and give the car a boost and see if I can start the engine. I still don't know what to say anymore. I can rip an engine apart and put it back together. When it comes to the electrical side of things, it's a little frustrating for me.
Okay, so I'm going to give you two instructions. I want you to listen to me.
Yep.
A, recheck codes because it wasn't communicating before. Let's recheck it now that it's working.
Okay.
And what I want you to do, I'm going to go ahead and send you this battery draw test that we were talking about. And I want you to run this test.
Yeah, actually,
Do me a favor. That's right. All I want you to do is I want you to run those two tests. So we're going to recheck for codes, and then I want you to this battery draw test. Once we're off the phone, I'm going to go ahead and send you this battery draw procedure, this test, and I want you to run this test. If you still having a battery drain, it will lead us to the root cause. Okay. So I'll go ahead and send that over, and you can reply back anytime to our chat, and I'm happy to help. Okay. Now,
perfect.
Other questions that I can assist with while we're on the phone. What's that?
Give the battery a boost and see if I can get it started.
There you go.
And then I'll conduct the battery draw test like send it to me.
That sounds good, my friend.
All right. Amity, thank you very much for your help, for your time.
All right, you bet. You're welcome. Good luck. I'll talk with you soon, okay?
All right.
Bye-bye.